All right, good morning. I am hoping Facebook is actually doing the whole live thing. Last time I started talking and it didn't actually, tell me I was live until it was not live, which is interesting. So, if you're new to any of these videos, today I'm always Colleen Mitchell, but today I want to say welcome. My name is Colleen Mitchell. I am a certified life coach. I have a podcast on type 1 diabetes. I'm also an author, and my epic fantasy novel is coming out in November of this year. So you can follow me for more on that. Today, I want to talk about cultivating, I want to make sure I emphasize that word cultivating self belief. Now, I want to start off with the actual definition of a belief. And the definition that I'm working from is that a belief is a repeated, ingrained thought that you've just thought over and over again so much that it's become true to you. When you think this thing, when you think about the thing you believe, it feels like truth. And sometimes what feels like truth is that you're not good enough, or that you can't do something, or that you're just not that kind of person. And those are the kinds of self beliefs that we don't want to have because they hold us back. Now, self belief is actually really closely related to self confidence. Self confidence is like trusting yourself and knowing that you always have your own back, that you have the ability to do whatever it is you want to do, that you just have this innate sense that you can do something. That's self confidence, and that can come from self believing thoughts. So, what you want to do in cultivating this self belief is figure out. I don't know if you can hear that airplane or not. In any case, figure out what you believe now. What do you believe right now about yourself that may be holding you back, that you might not want to believe anymore? List all of those things on paper. And I really actually do this on paper. It really works. Once you have that list of the things you currently believe about yourself, list the things that you want to believe about yourself. Those are the things that you're working towards, like, I can do this. I am good enough. I'm an amazing person. I'm an amazing writer, an amazing employee, whatever it is that you want to be, write it down. And this kind of as a side tangent relates to the idea that most people think they need to have something in order to do something, in order to be someone. So most people think it's have, do, be. But really, what actually has to happen is you need to be the kind of person who does those things and then have that result. So you really need to like flip that from have, do, be to be, do, have. And that's just something kind of related to that gap between where you are now in your beliefs and where you want to be in your beliefs. Because that's actually the work, is the gap between where you are currently and where you want to go. And now I want to mention something here that is really important, is that the idea of affirmations, so saying things to yourself or listening to things like short beliefs, or just like, I'm an amazing person, I am happy, wealthy, and something like that. So all of those short little like phrases that you want to say to yourself, those don't work unless you actually believe them. So affirmations have a place, but it might not be self belief work. If you want to believe more in yourself, it probably won't help to be repeating affirmations to yourself that you do not currently believe. It's like going from I hate my body to I love my body. If you're currently believing that you have a terrible body, that you hate your body, that nothing can be different about it, that you're kind of stuck there, if you try to work through that with affirmations of I love my body's amazing, anything like that, it's not going to work. So affirmations in self belief do not stick unless you believe them. If you take a look at your life right now, like the results that you currently have, every result in your life is the effect of the beliefs that you have about yourself. If you believe you can do something, you probably did that thing. If you believe you can have something, you probably have that thing. If you believe something about yourself, you probably are that kind of person. So the beliefs that you have directly influence the results that you create in your life. There's a quote by Henry Ford. It's, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. If you believe you can't do something, you're going to live that thought, that belief, and create that result, and you're going to prove yourself right. On the other hand, if you believe something about yourself that you can do something, if you believe you can do a thing, you're going to live into that result and create that in your life. So whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, doesn't matter which one you choose. If you believe it, it's right. This ties directly into growth versus fixed mindset. Growth mindset is the idea that you can always learn something new, you can always grow, you're not restricted to one thing. It's believing that you have the ability to do something even if you currently can't do it now. You have the ability to grow into it. You can create that future for yourself. Fixed mindset is the idea that you can't change as a person, that your current state is exactly how you're going to be for the rest of your life, and that you can't change. And personally, I don't think that fixed mindset is helpful at all because it really just holds you back. And if you're stuck in fixed mindset, you're never going to cultivate belief in yourself that you can do something beyond your current ability level. It's just not going to happen. So part of self-belief is kind of like working into the mindset that you can get better, that you can grow. Ginny Rometty says, she's used to be a CEO of IBM. She says that growth and comfort do not coexist. You can't be comfortable and grow at the same time. That's just not going to happen. And that's the same thing with your beliefs in yourself. If you want to cultivate self-belief, it's probably going to feel uncomfortable on the way because those thoughts are brand new in your head. And if those thoughts are brand new, your brain isn't going to be used to thinking them. It's going to want to go back to the things it's been thinking before. And this leads right into my next point about neural networks. The things you believe about yourself, about life, those are things that have been ingrained in your head since you were a kid. All the things you grew up believing, all the things that your parents taught you, your teachers, everything, that has become a neural network in your head. The more that your brain thinks something, the faster it's going to go down that neural pathway. And when you're changing self-belief, when you're changing beliefs about yourself, you have to go against that neural pathway. And it's going to be hard. It's going to take a long time. And the reason I call it cultivating self-belief is because it's like a garden. If you're planting a seed, you won't want to dig it up every other day to find out why it's not sprouting. You have to leave it in the ground. You have to water it. You have to pay attention to it. You have to give it fertilizer. And I'm saying this from the perspective of somebody who's actually a black thumb, and I'm like terrible at gardening, and I don't even like the idea of having a garden. But cultivating self-belief is like planting a garden. You can't keep digging up that seed. If you do, you're never going to redirect that thought pattern in your brain. You're never going to rewrite the programming in your head because you keep digging it up and you keep questioning why it's not working. And that's never going to be helpful on your path to changing your self-belief about yourself. So I really want you to keep this idea in your head that if you're working on beliefs, especially about yourself, you can't keep digging up the seed. You really can't. You have to let that seed stay in the ground. You have to nurture it. You have to practice believing. You have to practice things. And that's really how it happens is through over time, the more you practice redirecting your thoughts to this new way of thinking, these new beliefs about yourself, the easier it's going to get. And the way you know if you truly believe something is if you have the results that it creates in your life. If you believe you can do something, you will know that you believe it when you do it. That's it. That's how it works. That's how these things work in the world. Once you, it will truly click for you after you have already done the thing. And I want to give you a few examples in the last couple minutes. So the first one is I used to hate, loathe public speaking, and I didn't have a belief in myself that I could do it. I just thought that I was different from the speakers on TED stages or keynote speakers or even people giving presentations at company conferences. I used to go to company conferences and like wish that I could be as brave as those people. Sorry, there's a car like roaring past. Just gonna let them do that. So I used to look at those people who were speaking on stage and wish that I could be like them, that I could have that kind of bravery and confidence to go up and speak to people. And it took, I want to say, a couple months of practicing, like believing that I could do it before I actually went up on stage and I did it. That's like a really powerful example of going from I believe that I can never give a confident, powerful presentation in front of people to actually being able to do it and then doing it and like feeling kind of a rush afterwards. And like now I'm like not even scared of public speaking. Otherwise, I wouldn't be on Facebook Live or whatever version of, the internet you're using to watch this. Like if I didn't overcome that belief about myself that I couldn't be a public speaker, you wouldn't be hearing from me today. Another really powerful example is my weight loss story. I used to weigh 225 pounds. I'm 5'8". It did not look pretty. Like I hated every single picture I had of me. I avoided the camera. Seriously. I still kind of avoid the camera except for, this, but like taking selfies is not something I like doing. And I'll probably figure out how to get over that later. But the weight loss started with belief that I could. Because up until that point, I didn't believe that I could lose weight. Think about that. I didn't believe I could lose weight, and so therefore I didn't. Until I saw the possibility, the opportunity, like really the possibility that I could possibly lose weight, that's when it started happening. When I finally saw and believed that it was just possible to lose weight, that's when I started losing weight. Today, I am almost 70 pounds down. It's ridiculous. I never believed, ever, before 225 pounds that I could get back down to this weight. I don't think I've ever even been at this weight as an adult. It's insane. And it all stemmed from belief that I could. Self-belief is so powerful. And then the last example I want to share is kind of related to the others, but I never saw myself as a runner. Honestly, I still don't really see myself as a quote unquote runner because I don't enjoy the act of running. But I always thought that running was just something that I didn't do. Like my experience of running was honestly running down the theater hallway to the bathroom and then running back so I missed as little time in the movie as possible. Seriously, that was like my whole running thing. I'm like, if I can run down the hall at the theater, I'm good. That's it. But I hated just thinking of myself as like, I will never be able to run. And so I think like 3 years ago, I enrolled in a Couch to 5K program. And that was like the beginning of the belief that it was maybe possible that I actually could run. And going through that program helped build that self-belief that, yeah, I can do this. And now, even today, I'm like, yeah, if I need to run, which I did like a few weeks ago during a hike, I actually ran because there were mosquitoes everywhere. But that process built that belief in myself that, yeah, I can run. And you know what the result was? I won third place in a 5K race after I finished the Couch to 5K. Third place in my age group. That's ridiculous. Like before that, I never would have thought that I could even place, like even make it like on the list. I thought I was behind everybody else, and I ended up winning third in my age group for running, of all things, of running. And so that's kind of where I want to leave you is when you believe in yourself enough to go after the thing, you will know that you believe in yourself when you've done it. And the whole way there, you're probably going to feel uncomfortable. That's okay. That's normal. But just don't give up. If you want to cultivate belief in yourself, you have to plant the seed and you can't dig it up. You have to feed it. So that's where I'm going to leave you today is on this idea of cultivating that little seed of self-belief in yourself. Just plant it and let it germinate, and then who knows? It could bloom tomorrow. Just don't dig it up. It could bloom in a week, in a month, in 6 months. It could bloom in 10 years. But you won't know unless you don't dig the seed up. So if you want help with self-belief work, with cultivating that belief, I want to invite you to send me a message to talk about this. You can go to inspiredforward.com/book to book a 1 hour session with me. It'd be a free 1 hour session to find out if we're a good fit. And if you want to continue working with me in a one-to-one basis, you can go there and sign up for that. So with that, I will see you next time. Bye.